I never imagined my peaceful suburban life would spiral into chaos when the HOA set my barn ablaze with a flamethrower, unaware they'd just provoked a federal investigator with access to government resources. How far would I go to unravel the dark conspiracy lurking behind our neighborhood's pristine lawns? A sharp knock shattered my sleep. The pounding wasn't friendly, it was trouble. I threw on a robe and stumbled to the door, my mind foggy from a late-night case on corporate fraud. Opening it, I faced Margaret Collins, lips pursed like she'd swallowed vinegar, clutching a clipboard like a shield. "Morning, Mr. Carter," she said, her tone icy. "Official Meadowview Estates HOA business." I rubbed my eyes. After 4 years here, I knew a storm when I saw one. Margaret wasn't just a neighbor, she ruled our community with a velvet-gloved iron fist. "What's this about?" I kept my voice steady, a skill honed over 12 years as a financial crimes investigator. She pointed a manicured finger toward my backyard. "Your barn violates Section 8.2 of our guidelines on approved structures." My great-uncle's barn had stood for 70 years. When developers turned the surrounding farmland into Meadowview, my deed included a grandfather clause protecting it. I'd explained this to Margaret before. "We've covered this," I said calmly. "The barn's exempt under the original agreement." She flipped through her clipboard. "The board disagrees. That clause applied only to the original owner, not you." A blatant lie. I'd verified every document with my attorney before buying. "I have the paperwork," I countered. Her eyes narrowed. "Paperwork can be wrong. You've ignored 3 warnings." News to me, no warnings had arrived. "Check your mail," she snapped, her tone slicing through the morning air. The way she sneered "job" made my skin crawl. Neighbors thought I was a mundane analyst. Few knew I tracked financial criminals for the Justice Department. "The barn stays," I said firmly. Margaret's smile was venomous. "You have 72 hours to demolish it, or the HOA acts." Across the street, her husband, Leonard, watched us, his face an unreadable mask, hands in pockets. My instincts screamed trouble. Margaret strode off, and my neighbor, Edith Grayson, waved from her garden. Once Margaret was out of earshot, Edith whispered, "Be careful. Last month, the Wilsons defied the HOA over their gazebo. Their car was vandalized days later." I nodded, watching Leonard's eerie stillness. I called my lawyer, Tom Reynolds, who sounded alarmed. "Your clause is airtight. This push is odd. Install cameras." I found no warnings in my mail, confirming Margaret's deceit. That afternoon, I set up cameras around the barn. Leonard watched from his window, his gaze chillingly blank. That night, an email from Margaret arrived with a final warning, attachment, and signed, "Suspicious." My phone rang. My boss, Director Hayes. "Someone's probing your case files with outdated credentials," he warned. I was investigating a money laundering ring tied to real estate. Could the HOA be connected? In the barn, my office held case backups. The padlock hung open. Heart pounding, I drew my weapon and found a blinking device, a tracker, hidden among hay bales. Headlights flashed. Leonard stepped out, nervous, approaching my door. Why was he here at 10 p.m.? Flames erupted, painting the night orange. I sprinted barefoot across my yard, the heat searing my face. "Stop!" I roared. My great-uncle's barn burned. 3 figures stood against the inferno: Margaret, her ally Richard Holt, and Treasurer Laura Bennett. Richard wielded a modified weed torch. "Call 911!" I shouted toward Edith's house. She'd woken me, frantic, at 2 a.m. "They're burning your barn!" Facing them, rage surged. This was no accident, it was war. "What have you done?" I demanded. Margaret's face glowed with smug satisfaction. "This is what happens when you defy us, investigator." My blood froze. No one here knew my real job. "Surprised?" Richard sneered. "We know who you are. Does your agency know about your side hustle?" "Side hustle?" I was clueless. Arson's a felony, I warned. Laura checked her watch. Funny, I reported you starting this fire 20 minutes ago. They were framing me. Edith called out. Fire department's coming! Margaret's smirk wavered. As they fled, I grabbed Richard's arm. Why? Fear flashed in his eyes. You should have sold when we offered last year. I'd never received an offer. My agent, Claire Monroe, had vanished after I bought the place. The barn's roof collapsed, sparks flying. Sirens wailed. Margaret's crew vanished, her parting shot chilling. Check your email. We documented your fire code violations. Firefighters couldn't save the barn. The captain asked. How'd it start? The HOA did this. Edith saw them. He frowned. Reports say you burned trash illegally. Edith, trembling, said. I only saw flames, not how it started. Betrayal stung, she'd lied. The police had fake HOA warnings. I was a suspect. Leonard watched from afar, his expression troubled. By dawn, the barn was ash. My case files, stored in a melted cabinet, were gone. Edith approached, whispering. They threatened my granddaughter's scholarship. Margaret's sister's on the university board. She added. The Petersons' garage burned last year after an HOA dispute. Not an accident. Leonard approached, handing me a USB drive. I took this from your barn office. Margaret would have destroyed it. Why help me? Look under the barn, he said cryptically, then left. What was worth arson? A brick shattered Edith's window. Gunshots tore through her home. They want us dead! I yelled. Margaret's hired thugs stormed in. Edith, revealing herself as an FBI agent, fired back. Take Kendra to the mill! She shouted, referencing a new HOA member, Kendra Walsh, who joined us. I knocked out an attacker, and Kendra and I fled to her car. Flames consumed Edith's house. Was she sacrificing herself? Kendra drove, terrified. The HOA keeps records at the community center. My phone recorded Margaret's attack orders. At the center, I broke in, hearing Margaret and Leonard argue. The operation's blown, she hissed. Maps marked military bases. My foot creaked aboard. Sirens sounded. I burst in, gun raised. Hands up! Victor wiped the drive, smirking. Evidence gone. Edith, bloody but alive, stormed in, FBI badge high. You're done. Chaos erupted. Richard fired wildly. I shot his leg, and Edith tackled Margaret. Leonard fled with a laptop. I chased him to the pool, tackling him as the laptop sank, sparking. Police swarmed. The laptop was ruined, but Edith held a USB backup. Raids hit HOA offices nationwide. Margaret and Leonard were silent, but Richard confessed. Kendra identified her sister's killers. My suspension lifted, I stood where my barn once was. Meadowview's HOA was gone, replaced by a fair council. Kendra texted, she joined it, vowing transparency. The fight wasn't just for my barn, it exposed corruption thriving in unchecked power. Edith and I laughed. Who'd suspect an HOA of espionage? At a block party, neighbors bonded, free from Margaret's grip. What do you think? Was my defiance worth it? Share your thoughts below. Have you faced petty tyrants like Margaret? Let's debate. When does standing your ground cross into recklessness? Hit that like button and subscribe for more wild stories.